Olá, gente! Muito boa noite. Então, tô aqui do lado de uma pessoa muito especial. Eu vim aqui de surpresa. Vou agradecer demais ele porque eu tô aqui no aeroporto de Guarulhos, onde o Mike Donnally está aqui fazendo uma conexão. Olha aí, para voltar para casa, para os Estados Unidos. Ele esteve esta semana aqui em Brasília conversando com as pessoas lá, encontrou com o Rick, com o Alexandre, o Vinícius também, todo mundo, certo? E então eu vou falar aqui só em inglês. Depois vocês podem me dizer aí se
Eu
tá.
não falo português.
Porque ele não fala português.
Eu aprendendo português, eu estudante de português.
Exatamente, como todo bom pai homeschooler, ele também é um estudante e está aprendendo. Muito bom. Me digam aí se a imagem tá boa, se o som tá bom. E eu vou começar a conversar com ele. So, Mike, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to start first by thanking you to do this. I mean, you're going home, and I am here.
I wish I could stay a little longer, but my family, they want me.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure why, but
well, maybe someday you can bring all of them.
Oh, I
it's
would love
be
it. Oh, that would
great.
be so much fun. I'd love to do that.
Okay, and also I want to thank you in the name of the Brazilian homeschooling community, because I mean we just feel loved and embraced by the American homeschooling community and by the work you're doing. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, it's a privilege. Wesley, there are 2 million homeschooled children in the United States of America. That's about 4% of the school-age population. Homeschooling, has been around for about 50 years in the United States, and so we've had a lot of practice. We've seen a lot of things happen. We had to fight for it 50 times.
Wow.
But you guys are fighting for it once. But it's a bit of a high-risk situation here in Brazil because it's one shot, right?
It's all or nothing, right?
Well, we've been working at this for quite a number of years. I've been working with Brazilian homeschool leaders since 2008. And so I've been here for a while, and it's very exciting what I see happening here in Brazil. I'm very excited. I'm very encouraged. I know that there are a lot of people who are concerned, nervous. They don't know what's going on. I can tell you, I was just in Brasilia. I know what's going on. I'll be glad to tell you a little bit about it.
Okay, great.
And I think you'll be encouraged.
Well, nice. You see, so people, there's no reason for us to worry. Things are going well. And so tell me, before we talk about what you've done in Brasilia, why you were there, tell us, did you expect that things would turn around like this, like so fast in Brazil? I mean, a few years ago there was no expectation for homeschooling in Brazil, and now things are.
I've had an expectation of homeschooling in Brazil for a long time.
Great.
Actually.
I mean,
I've been, since I came in 2016 when we had the global conference in Rio.
Yeah, that was great.
I saw the hunger, I saw the interest, I saw the passion that the Brazilian people have for their children. I saw their passion for freedom, and I'm like, oh man, homeschooling has got a bright future in Brazil.
Great.
It's just going to take a while to get there. It's a fight, freedom is a fight, because there are those who don't want people to be free, and I think that's what's going on here in Brazil, and I'm just super excited about what I see happening in Brazil in homeschooling, but in other things too.
Great. Wow, great. So now tell us what happened there in Brasilia, why you were here.
Sure.
And
very well. So Deputado Alan Rick, he invited me, and let me tell you have got one friend in Deputy Alan Rick. He's from Acre.
Yeah.
I don't know how many homeschoolers there are in Acre.
Well,
probably
that many.
not a lot.
Not a lot.
But
there are people there. There are homeschooling families there.
Well, the whole country of Brazil. We have some champions: Lincoln Portela, Eduardo Bolsonaro. There are some others in the Senate. You've got David Bizet, Coimbra, right? The Senador.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, who has had some law projects. He's the leader.
Yeah. He's the president.
I was actually
the
able to meet with him for a very brief period of time, but I met with his staff. But Alan Rick is the one who invited me to come here. I met Alan a year ago when I came last time to the big conference we had here in Brasilia. And Alan, he has a heart for justice.
Great.
Yeah. And he knows that Brazilian parents love their children. He knows that they want to do what's best for their children. And he knows that homeschooling is a good thing. He doesn't have any kids.
Well, but
You know?
yeah, but it's not a matter of having kids.
No,
I mean,
it's
a
not.
fight for freedom.
That's exactly, and that's I think what he is. He's a real freedom fighter. So he invited me to come down, and you know, with the folks at Anegi, Rick, and Alexandre, Vinicius, and they were in Brasilia. You know, we have friends in high places, and it's amazing to see how really it's the hand of God, I think. You know, I mean, people homeschool for lots of reasons. Some people are Christian, they homeschool for Christian reasons. Some people are not, they homeschool for other reasons. Even Christians, you know, homeschool for other reasons other than wanting to homeschool their kids to teach them about their faith. People have lots of reasons. But I guess the point I would make is that homeschooling's for everyone, right? And I think that is something that excites Alan Rick and excites me to fight for this cause.
Great.
So,
And
yeah.
I know you cannot tell us like all the details, but what can you tell us about the executive order that is about to come out and the law
Sure.
project and bill?
Well, I really don't know anything about the details. That is something that is I hear being worked on in the government by various people. I know Minister Damares of the Ministerio de Derecho Humano
Yeah.
has said publicly that, you know, she wants to see a medida provisoria. From what I've learned about the different approaches, I think that's actually a very good idea, and I think we need to support that idea because, you know, there are people who are right now are having problems in Brazil, and that's why this is urgent. That's why it is so urgent for the Congress to act. I mean, I'm getting calls, and Neji's getting calls from people who are being prosecuted by mean-spirited people. It's incredible, the hostility. And so, you know, we encountered this in America for many, many years you know, over the course of our battle for homeschool freedom. And you're just going to have to prepare yourselves for that.
So this
Even after we win this fight,
yeah.
because I believe that there will be a law. I hope it'll be a good one. I told people that if they want to ask me my opinion, I'll be happy to give it to them. I don't know if they'll ask me, but we'll see.
Well,
I said that to Minister Velez, who I also met with, Ricardo Velez Rodriguez, who's the Minister of Education. You know, he's from Colombia, but I guess he's Brazilian now. But he was homeschooled. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew.
I didn't know that. He was such a nice man. And he spoke very highly of homeschooling. I think, you know, everybody that I met with in the cabinet, in the government, in the Senate, in the the chambers of the deputies, they were very, very positive about homeschooling. And you know what's really amazing? I mean, your president put this on his top priority of legislative items that he wanted. That's incredible.
That's incredible. That's really exciting.
Incrível.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that next year when you come back, you'll be speaking Portuguese.
Esperança.
Okay.
I hope.
Yeah.
I will try.
Okay, so you're saying that this is like the first step. It's like a battle that we are winning, but it's not the end. I mean, we should keep on pressing, and even if the law is a positive one, but, right?
Well, any law right now would be positive, right?
Yeah.
Just having some legal covering to allow people to do it. That's what you need. I mean, we had the Supreme Court case that kind of took care of things for a couple of years, actually, and I think that was a good thing. It allowed people to hear more about homeschooling and to try to do it without any threat.
And also, it allowed for the community to grow.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the community has grown.
Yeah.
I mean, I think homeschooling is growing faster in Brazil than anywhere.
Yes, it is. It is. We get daily questions about how to do and why homeschooling, how to do it, and where should I start. So every day people are asking us. So we feel that the community is growing really, really fast.
It's growing really fast, and that's a good sign. And you know what else? You know, there are people who are starting curriculum companies and other international organizations that I'm aware of based in the United States that are global curriculum companies and homeschool support companies. They're coming to Brazil. Part of the reason is I told them to, or I encouraged them to. I didn't tell them to. I said, look, there's something happening in Brazil. If you want to be on the train early, you better get down there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, in my opinion, there is no way like back now. People like they cannot forbid or restrict homeschooling.
Well, you're going to have people who are going to try.
Oh yeah, they will.
And it's going to be a fight in the Congress. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to throw everything they have to stop this because they don't like the idea of parents teaching their children.
Yeah.
Because they think that, well, they have different, there's a philosophical issue. It's ideological in some cases. In some cases, just because they can't see it. To understand homeschooling, it takes a different set of glasses. You have to look at things differently. Most people say, how can a mother who's never been trained as a teacher teach her children? That shows how people have been socialized in the country to think that education can only happen in a school.
Oh yeah,
and that's
like it's a magical place where education happens,
right,
and nowhere else.
Right, and that's absolutely false, right? In fact, education actually doesn't really happen, and I'm not here to bash schools, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not homeschooling. If homeschooling gets legal in Brazil, which it will, schools are not going to suddenly disappear.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it took 50 years in the United States for us to get to 2 million students and 4% of the school-age population. 50 years. I mean, you may never get there in Brazil, which is fine. Whatever happens. Although I do think, I think Brazil has a bright future. I think that I don't know. Maybe Brazil will try to surpass the United States.
Maybe.
Well, you can try.
Well, we need to be
we
better.
We do have a bigger population, but
we do need to be better than the U.S. in some.
Well, you're better in soccer, I think, probably.
Yeah, probably. Well, maybe not for long.
We'll see. Anyway, but the thing is, what were we talking about? So people are going to fight against you.
Yeah.
They're going to throw all kinds of silly ideas at you, and they're going to sound silly to you because you know homeschooling works. You've seen it. I've seen it. We know in America, it works. We have research. We can prove that it works. It's not a question of if. It's a question of fact. It's a fact. And anybody who denies the facts is just not living in reality. So we have to be prepared to answer, right? Like I'm a Christian, okay? I read the Bible. I believe in the Bible. So, it says, be prepared to give a defense of the hope you have. That's the gospel. But I think that's true of anything. And what does it say? How are we to do it? With gentleness and respect, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So you're going to get opposition from your friends, from your neighbors, from church members, from your mother-in-law, from maybe your parents, from all kinds of people. Maybe your children, they don't want to come out of school, but you think it's better for them to come out of school. You're going to get resistance from all kinds of people. So you just need to be prepared to deal with that. And you need to deal with them in a way that is helpful, not angry. You don't need to be angry because we're right. Homeschooling is good.
Yes, it is.
It's right. And we don't need to be afraid of that. We don't need to be defensive about it, although I know it's hard sometimes when you're being attacked not to be defensive. And so I would encourage everybody who's listening here to get informed. If you can read English, go to the HSLDA website. We've got a lot of resources there. I think Annette is working on getting more resources put up on their website, and I guess you got some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, get informed. Be able to, tell people, one, your own story, right? But also be able to say, hey, look, did you know in the United States there are 2 million homeschooled kids? Most people would be like, what?
And also, don't feel like, don't get bored of repeating the same things all over again.
That's a good point.
Because we get the same questions so many times that from time to time we feel like, oh my God, that again.
I've answered the socialization question a million times. I mean, this is what I do too. And I used to, I've been doing this for 13 years, all over the world. And I used to get a little bit irritated. I'm like, you guys, come on. I mean, socialization, haven't we put that one to bed yet? But the thing is, everybody has questions. And it's not the same question for every person. So we have to understand, if we care what they think. And we're not going to care what everybody thinks. But if it's somebody that we feel like we need to persuade, then we need to be persuasive. And we need to understand what their challenge is. For some people, it'll be this inability to see how a mom could be a teacher. And that's a mentality of institutional education, right? Thinking that you have to only teach in schools. Another is that people think that schools are where children can be socialized, like church, the neighborhood soccer field. Those are not good places to be socialized. I mean, that's just silly. For some people, it's ideological. Those people are going to be hard to convince. So I would even say don't even try.
Yeah, but those people, they generally don't ask questions. And
that's a good point. That's a good point.
What I think is if the person is asking questions, he or she is interested.
That's right. And you have to ask them. Say, you're challenging me on homeschooling. Why? What is your concern? What is it that you think is not good about homeschooling? And have a conversation, if you can, have a conversation with that person and ask them questions. That's what I do. I've stopped just kind of telling people homeschooling is good. I ask them, I know homeschooling is good. I have no doubts about it. I know that it works. Okay, I've seen it in my own family. I have 7 children. I have 3 that are in college. They're good.
So it works.
Doing well. It works. Nothing's perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, right? But it works, and I've seen it all over the country, all over the world. It's an incredibly positive, healthy, good method of education. And the other thing people are going to say is, no, every child who leaves the public schools hurts public schools because it takes money away. Well, if the public schools were better, maybe they wouldn't have so many people leaving them.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And again, I'm not here to bash public schools. The schools try hard, right? But it's difficult. It's an institution. It's difficult. It's a bureaucracy. It's an institution. I know, teachers don't go into education and into teaching in schools because they want to hurt kids. Right? They go in there because they want to help kids. Most of them, 98% probably, 99 maybe even. But they have so many obstacles, and we really need to kind of sympathize a little bit with them. I mean, look, if your kid's not learning, or if he's being bullied, or he's not doing well in school, take him out. But understand that, and it could be that the teacher's a problem, and because there are teachers that are problems, and there are principals that are problems, and there are schools that are problems, but it could be, something else. And just remember that they are stuck in an institution that's hard under any circumstances. So, we don't have to bash the public schools to hold up homeschooling. Homeschooling is its own thing. It's good by itself. It's a right by itself. It's a form of education by itself. It's private education. And we have a right to do it. And I'm just very excited that your president, leaders of your Congress, even the Supreme Court, they didn't say it's wrong. They just said the Constitution doesn't expressly allow for it. And you know what? They were right. Your Constitution does not explicitly say homeschooling is a right.
Yeah, but
the Irish Constitution
does. Has to allow everything. But does the Constitution have to allow everything?
No, it doesn't have to allow it. Well, that's a good point. And that goes to the nature of your government, right? And I teach constitutional law at Patrick Henry College, and our Constitution is 4,000 words, approximately 4,000 words, and I think yours is probably like 40,000 words.
Well, yeah, we have a socialist constitution. So.
Well, maybe you can do something about that. But anyway, the point is this: it's not the role of the court to make law. So if the Constitution doesn't say homeschooling is okay, then okay, fine, go to the Congress, and that's what we're happening. And look what's happening. That's what's happening. It's going to happen, but we got to do our part.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We have to do our part. We have to talk to our deputies. So what we do in the USA is we go to see our elected leaders, because you know what? When they know a family, it's a lot harder for them to vote against you. So I want to encourage every single person who watches this: go and meet your deputy, go and meet your senator. Get to know them as best you can. It's hard to do. It takes some effort, but go to their office when they're back in town for Carnival or for whatever, because everybody goes back home for Carnival, right?
Yeah.
Or wherever. When they're back in town, set up an appointment. Bring your children in. Have a meeting with them and say, "Hey, I just wanted to get to know you." And there are people who are going to disagree with you fundamentally, ideologically, but you can go in there. You can just explain your reasons for homeschooling, and they'll listen to you because you're one of their constituents mostly. And the chances are they won't throw you out of their office. And just get to know them.
Yeah, because people who are against homeschooling are doing this. If we don't go there and talk to them and make our presence known,
we have to make our presence known.
Yeah.
And and when you go in there with your family, your kids who are well educated and well behaved, and they'll be like, wow, I do know a homeschool family. I had the pleasure of meeting with Joyce Hasselman.
Yeah.
And wow, she's amazing. I'll tell you what. You guys have some incredible people in your government. I mean, it's really amazing. But she was telling me, she knows some homeschooling families, and she's like, man, they're amazing. Those kids are incredible. She's like, I think homeschooling's great. How it happens, how the Congress, kind of figures out what to do, that's a challenge. I mean, she's new in the job. There's a lot of new people in the Congress. They're all trying to figure it out. So that's why it's important to be patient. But while we're waiting, we can do some things. We can go see our deputies, our senators. We can visit them in person. And really, you need to visit them in person. An email, a phone call is not going to cut it. You got to go to their office. Okay. The other thing
with the kids, right?
With
the kids, with the entire family.
That's right. Take the whole family down there. Dad, take a day off from work if you can, or whatever. Whatever you can do, figure it out. The other thing I want to ask the Brazilian homeschool community to do is this. I really need you to support ANED. I need you to support your organizations, local and national. And I've been working with the folks at ANED since 2008. HSLDA of USA helped in the early days when ANED was getting started to support, to encourage them. And it's a great organization, and it's going to become even greater.
Yeah, and when you say support, it's not only emotional support, right? Financial support as well.
No, what I need for you to do, actually, I need you to donate.
Yeah.
Is that Tim Brennan?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Tim, how you doing? What does that say? I can't see that with my...
He says yes.
Yes, awesome. Hey, Tim, it's good to know you're watching. I wish I could come down to your neck of the woods. Anyway, but yeah, we need everybody to support ANED. If you're not a member, you need to become a member. If you're a member, you need to donate. You need to give. They need money here in Brasilia to fund the work that is happening at the Congress. It takes financial resources to do the kind of work that needs to be done. And you know what? Maybe you feel called to volunteer. I mean, send an email to the guys at ANED. There is a need for people to help, even in Brasilia.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what, our HSLDA, we have about 100 full-time staff.
Wow.
100 full-time staff.
That's a lot of people.
Working on homeschooling. Okay. ANED doesn't have one full-time person.
Yeah, I know.
So you need ANED. You need a national organization for the long term. And that's why it's really important to support. They're going to help get this law passed, get all the things that need to be done. And then, even when the law is passed, that's not the end of it.
Yeah. We're seeing what's happening in Portugal, right? Some people went crazy thinking it was in Brazil, but it's Portugal. And so we need to be vigilant, right?
Very vigilant. Well, I was in Portugal actually 6 weeks ago. Wow. 8 weeks ago, 2 months ago, in the middle of January, and I met with the Portuguese there, and it's not good. It's not a good thing. It's in some ways it's okay, in some ways it's not good. So I'm working with them, trying to help them, encourage them, support them. But you know what Brazil can do? Brazil can lead. Brazil can set an example here. The Brazilian Congress can set an example for the Portuguese and say, you know what? We trust our citizens. We believe in self-government. We believe in liberdade, freedom. Right? And we're going to trust our citizens with our children, because that's what free people do. That's what democracies do, is they trust their fellow citizens to make these kinds of decisions. Look, if somebody makes a mistake, if somebody does something bad, and it happens occasionally.
It happens at schools too.
Oh, well, it happens a lot at schools, I can tell you that. More so in schools than at home, but it does occasionally happen at homes, okay? Yeah. And so if it happens, then you punish that person. That's how we handle things in a free society. You don't put a bubble around everybody and you just say no freedom. That's communism. That's socialism. That's the Soviet Union. That's
even worse. I think that some people want to punish us for future crimes.
Well, they assume that you're going to commit a crime, and then so they're going to say, well, we're not going to let you do this because we don't trust you. That's not a free country. That's not a free country. That's not the kind of country I would want to live in. I don't think that's the kind of country that Brazil is. Maybe it has been in the past, but I think that's changing. So I really feel like you've got some great things happening here in Brazil. And I'll tell you, the other thing is, I need another partner on the global stage. There are a number of countries that have maturing homeschool communities, but Brazil is a leading country, leading democracy, one of the biggest in the world. And for Brazil to pass a regulation that's a good regulation, legalizing homeschooling, would be an amazingly good statement.
Yeah, especially if we grow in numbers, right?
Well, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to happen. Even if they don't pass the law, people are still going to homeschool. They're going to fight because people love their kids, and when they see something that they know is better for their child, they're going to do it. Even if they have to leave the country, like, so many Germans leave their country. I mean, do you know that there are political refugees from Germany in the United States and other countries because of homeschooling?
Well, that's good that the United States accepts those people, but it's sad that they have to leave their country, their homes, right, because of like a basic freedom, right? A basic right.
No one should have to leave their homeland in order to homeschool. And you have that happening here in Brazil right now, and it's a real tragedy. And it just really makes me sad to see, and that's why it's so urgent. And if there's any people in the Congress who are listening or hear this, I just want to encourage you to act as soon as you can. And whatever you can do to help encourage your deputy to support your president on homeschooling, you got to do it. Whatever you can do. There's a lot of big things they're trying to do in Brazil. Homeschooling is a pretty small issue, really. I mean, it's important and big in some ways, but when you look at pension reform or you look at the military situation you've got right now brewing with Venezuela, I mean, there's some really big, serious problems, and everybody's trying to figure out so many different things, and a lot of people are new on the job, so we do need to be patient, but we also need to act. We need them to act.
Great. And now, since you've spoken about deputies and senators that might be watching this, I want to say that the fan page here, Homeschooling é Legal, is open to you. You can come and talk to us, and we will give you space here.
Você pode falar português?
Posso, yes. Então eu vou falar em português aqui, que a página aqui, Homeschooling é Legal, está aberta para você que é deputado, para você que é senador e queira falar com a gente, falar com as famílias, a comunidade homeschooling no Brasil. A página está aberta para você, você entra em contato, pode entrar em contato com a gente, que nós vamos abrir, assim, com muito boa vontade, muita alegria, esse espaço para esta luta que para nós é tão importante, para o Brasil também, para o futuro do Brasil, que é a educação como um todo e especificamente a educação domiciliar. So, Mike, I don't want to make you miss your flight.
Hey,
so is there anything that I haven't asked you?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. I think that I felt we needed to cover. Homeschooling is a right. It's your right. It's a human right. It may not be explicit in your Constitution, but as you said, not everything has to be in the Constitution. That's why we have a Congress. You elect officials. They're going to pass a law. And I love Brazil. I love the people of Brazil. It's a privilege for me to be down here working with you. You have a bright future in Brazil, and I just am so delighted to be able to be part of it. And I wish you all the very best, and I hope I'll be able to come back again sometime and see you all again.
All right, great. Thank you again. I want to say again, thank you for all your effort and all your work here with us and helping us. And also, I want to thank the people from ANED, Ricky, Alexandre, and Vinicius, you and all the other people. Yeah. I know the wives help a lot too.
Especially the wives, those ladies, they put up with a lot.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, those guys.
They are all great, and let's help them.
Guys.
Let's donate and also financially help
and
them.
You moms who are watching right now, you are the heroes of this movement. And you dads who are supporting your wives and even being involved in the homeschooling, you're the heroes of this movement. You are doing what's best for your children. Don't ever forget that. You know what's best, and it's your place to make that decision. So God bless you all, and I guess I'll see you sometime in the future.
Great, thank you. Bye bye, people. Tchau, gente. Obrigado por todos aí. Depois a gente vê se a gente baixa o vídeo, legenda, sei lá. Tchau, gente.